AFTV, we're still here outside the LA Galaxy Stadium, rounding up. I'm going to start off with you. You know, when I first saw you, right, I thought you looked like a fan we got in England called Mems.
Oh, really?
You ever heard of that guy, Mems? He's like,
yeah,
we're a big fan
Park,
in.
But
Huh?
I met me and my wife met you at Selhurst Park, but we didn't get an interview.
You look like Mems, man. Trust me. You know what I mean? I thought, Mems is there. Right, big up Mems, by the way. But what did you make of it today?
Well, I'm very excited that they won. But the real thing that I really want to come out here and say is that, yes, we love the game. We all love the game. The problem is that look how many fans are here. I've been in Asia following the club. I live in San Francisco. I flew out today. Me and my buddies are flying to DC. I've spent $700 per ticket to be in the way section at Selhurst Park with my wife on a freezing day. And it's going to continue. And no other club like this in the United States would ever get the support that Arsenal still gets, even though Kroenke doesn't put any money in there. And that breaks my heart, but I'm still going to go out and buy that new yellow jersey.
Do you trust him?
I don't, not at all. The thing that really upsets me is that I hear his every interview, and when he says we're going to get silverware, we're going to get Champions League, I don't think he understands that you need to get into the league and win. It worries me that he doesn't even understand how the Premier League works. In the United States, if you play American football, if you're a shit and you lose every single game, next season you could get into the playoffs. If you're a shit in the Premier League, you know what happens. You get relegated. And it kills me because he's here flying out on a helicopter. Yes, we're against it, but guess what? When I was at the concession stands, there was a bunch of Bayern stuff there. Every single jersey was sold for Arsenal. Every hat, every scarf, everything. And I love the club, and so does everybody else here. In the United States, in Asia, I'm from Moscow, I'm from Russia. Everybody loves the club. You've been there, you know. And that's what worries me, because the guy is looking at this and he goes, yeah, they're talking a lot of crap, but they're going to buy my jerseys. They're going to support the club. And that stadium was filled out, 29,000 people. Guess what? How many Bayern fans? How many?
10.
Less than that. And that worries me. But I love the club, and I'm going to continue supporting it, and so will everybody else. And I'm praying to God that, I don't know about Zaha, but some defenders, and move us forward somehow. So,
Brilliant.
Thanks so much.
You know, on the same, staying on the same subject, you know, you heard, he articulated it well, you know. Do you trust Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, you know, and all the talk that's coming out that they are going to bring in these players? Be patient.
I don't see how you can, really. I mean, it sucks that we have people who see it as a business and it's not about the love. You know, I've been supporting Arsenal all my life. Since Nigeria till I moved out here, all I know is Arsenal. And it sucks that I've seen them win and I've seen them die. And it's killing me. And then I keep spending my money. All of us keep spending our money supporting this team, and we get nothing in return. And some guy is flying out in the helicopter, like he said, and just living the life while we wallow in our own self, you know, our hurt. And that's not fair on the club. So I don't trust him. I don't think anybody here does. But we'll cross our fingers and hope and pray that they mean it this time, you know, and we can move forward.
Okay. Do you trust him?
You know, as someone who is a huge fan of the NFL, someone who watched them when they were in St. Louis, right? They were a terrible team. He said that St. Louis wasn't a sports town, and they just won the NHL Cup, Stanley Cup. So, you know, looking at how his philosophy is that, if we put everything in the right, if we put all the pieces together, if we fit everything right, it's all going to work out. Well, you have to do your part too, you know. But
he turned the Rams around. They got to a Super Bowl final, could have won a Super Bowl. So,
right, absolutely.
Can he do that with us? Can he turn us around with his same philosophy?
Yeah, and I think that's a possibility. But you know, the NFL is a lot different than the Premier League. You have drafts, you can stock up, especially if you do bad. I mean, if you're one of the top 3 worst teams for a decade, that just gives you a ton of draft picks. You're able to just instill a foundation into your team. And I think we need to do something in that same facet with our academy. And I think we are bringing that up, and we're building that up, especially with signing Pear. I think that was a huge addition. Introducing Edu this week was huge. But yeah, I think we're in the right direction. I think listening to the fans, is something where I found as an oh shit moment, something where it's like, oh, okay, this is a problem. And I think seeing it in his home ground was big eye-opening for him. Hopefully we get something over the line, but yeah, definitely seeing some more urgency as of late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you trust him?
See, that's a hard question because, like, he comes out with a lot of things, him and Josh Kroenke, and they're, like, talking about, like, oh, you know, we've been watching. I talk to, like, the manager, Unai Emery, every day, and Edu and all of them, and the backroom staff. But it's, like, the past 12 years, have you not been talking to, like, the backroom staff? And, like, why did it take so long for you to take the change? Was it because, like, people stopped going? Maybe stopped buying stuff at, like, the stadium? So just, like, it's hard, and like everyone says, like, oh, when he finally buys like 100%, then maybe he'll invest. But then it just makes like the past 12 years look like, then what was he doing the whole time? Was he just taking all the money, and now he's realizing, oh, now I have to invest the money because they're sending me letters, or they know they're gonna protest. So it's just kind of like, it's a hard question now, especially because now he's fully like the owner. So it's like, you'd want to say yes. Like you say, yeah, you know, I want him to invest, and I'd say, he's like, yeah, like I trust him, but at the same time, it's like the past 12 years, you can't ignore 12 years. Like we've been like declining from then, we're losing like key players like Robin Van Persie and even Ramsey now. It's just like it's hard to like say if you trust him now, because like you have to give him the summer, and if he doesn't do anything and doesn't spend that much money, then you just in general you can't trust him anymore.
Okay. Trust him?
I don't personally. I don't trust him. No, I don't. No,
Not at all.
no, I don't.
Okay. Trust him?
I want to trust him, but actually I feel what Josh Kroenke said is similar to Ivan Gazidis. I feel like he said the same thing, that we're going to be competitive, we're going to win the Premier League, and he talked about it, that it's a process. And I feel like it's the same over and over. I want to be wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to buy some players. I feel like back in January when I'm thinking, why is a club like Arsenal can only do a loan deal? What if we bought one defender, just one defender to cover for Rob Holding? We could have went to the Champions League. But a club with the structure and the statue of Arsenal can only sign a player on loan. So I want to be wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. Let's see what he does. He has 3 weeks to do it.
Okay, 3 weeks. Do you trust him?
No way. I mean, you have teams like Everton, Leicester, West Ham, and Wolves spending money. You know, we ended 5th last season. So if these teams, catch up with us, we'll be in like 9th on the table, 10th on the table. And we made more revenues than this club last season. So where's the money? So I don't trust him, man. I don't trust him.
Okay. What about you?
No, not at all. I mean, in 2006 we move into the Emirates, and he says it's going to take, in 10 years we'll be the best team, in 10 years we'll be the best team, and what happened 10 years later? You guys were at Bayern, You guys had some of your most views because it was the rants, but that's why we're called Banter FC. So no, and I saw your guys' section, you guys were screaming at him. It's because he deserves it, Like how many, 21,000 Arsenal fans, 5,000 Bayern fans maybe? We're all out here. I spent combined thousands of dollars to come here from Boise, Idaho,
From where, sorry?
Boise, Idaho. You don't even know where it is. Yeah.
I know where Idaho is.
Yeah. But it's everywhere, There's a guy from New York. But we're not. But he doesn't even care. He'd rather have the LA Rams, who pack 5,000 into a $60,000 stadium or a 60,000 person stadium, versus us, who show out. Look, we're Arsenal. We're the Arsenal. It's bullshit, Robbie. It's just frustrating, man. Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
You?
No
trust.
Yeah, because he should have spent from the beginning of the transfer window, spent some big money if he actually loves the club, and if he cares about the fans who travel from different places in the world, come and see this team, see this defense.
No.
No,
Right.
sorry.
I'm gonna get you the last words. What's this? So we flew from the East Coast to see. Can we have a jersey?
Arsenal. There you go.
Okay. Are you wanting Nelson's jersey?
Yeah, I wanted Nelson's, to be honest.
Get it?
Nope.
Hey, you know what? Just before I ask you that, that's one thing I'm going to have a go at Arsenal now, right? Why is it that Arsenal, now literally the whole stadium there today was to watch Arsenal? And at the end of the game, the players just walked straight off. They just couple little claps, and then they just went off, right? And Yet Bayern, right, who had like hardly any fans there, walked round the pitch. And listen, we know, and Brennan, the cameraman, will tell you, we've been in Germany. We know that those players know they can't leave the pitch without thanking their fans. You can't do that in Germany. You probably never play there again. And I didn't like the way tonight the Arsenal players, all right, yeah, you stood in the middle of the pitch and you clapped the fans, but these fans, you know, this guy's come so far to see you play. The last guy that said he's come from Idaho, you know, he's playing come all over America to see that. I didn't like that. You know what I mean? What was the rush? I just saw the coach just pull off about 20 minutes ago. What was the rush? So, you know, I want them to address that for the next game. Sorry, that's my little rant. But finally, you got the last word, yeah? Okay. Do you trust Stan Kroenke, KSE, KSI, whatever they're called, right? Do you trust them to deliver for this football club, this transfer window? They've asked us to be patient. They said they're going to get things done. Exciting times. What do you think?
At this moment, to be honest, I'm like really skeptical because Josh can write a letter. He can talk back to the we care, do you movement. But to be honest, like, we're the players, and it's been how many years now, and Stan Kroenke never really goes to a game. But I'm gonna see, you know, I'm gonna give it a shot if he does the same exact thing that he does basically almost every year, the Kroenkes, then it's time that we just move on.
Okay, well, listen, what I'll say is that, you know, just by speaking to these fans here tonight, it's obvious they don't trust the words that are coming out from KSC at the moment. I think this is a big transfer window. You can win back the trust of these fans if you deliver in this transfer window, right? We need a team that's going to be able to compete in the Premier League next season. I'm not even talking about the Europa League, the Premier League. We want to see a team that competes. It doesn't mean that we're going to win it. It may not even mean that we get in the top four, but we just want to see the team compete. And the team is not going to be able to compete if it's exactly the same as last year. So we want to see some ambition shown. I want to get excited about these signings. I'm waking up every morning doing this transfer daily thing, man. I'm getting very depressed at the moment. I'm not excited. So the jury is out. The jury is really out. You've heard it from the fans. If they wanted to see the reaction from the fans, you've seen right here in the States, your hometown, the fans are saying the same thing as they're saying in England, as they're saying in Russia, as they're saying wherever it is around the world. We don't trust you, but we will give you a chance if you prove to us that you really do have ambitions for this club being successful. You really do want to try and win silverware. It's up to you now, and you've only got a couple of weeks left to do it.